So I'm coming to the realization they did not have good intentions. My mother and stepfather. They were not trying to help me. They were torturing me. You know, my mother and stepfather were torturing me. Hey, Tiger. Yeah, I'm pretty certain my mother and stepfather were torturing me, and it was because of something that took place 20 years ago, and they've been torturing me for the past 20 years. Somebody asks Yeah, it was that thing you're referring to, that the the I guess you would describe it as wrestling on a cruise. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't really remember what happened in great detail. Um, yeah, basically, I'm afraid. I was being sabotaged. I was being tortured. Nobody was genuinely my friend. Nobody nobody intended to help me. Everybody was basically intending to torture and sabotage me. Like after going years with no friends in a solitary Joanne Greenberg land, the people I opened up to and trusted set out to do me harm. And it was orchestrated by my parents, family, and friends. Basically, they were just torturing me, everybody. I had no friends. I had like, everybody was torturing me. Is that the truth? Is the truth I had no friends and everybody was torturing me? Tiger says no one was torturing you. I think they pharmacologically abused me and conspired into getting me to take HIV PrEP with nefarious premeditated intentions. I know they say it was your choice to go over to the emergency room and take the medications. You put the pills in your mouth. But I think they gaslit it into happening. Sleeves, I do believe that. I do believe it. I mean, even though they'll say, well, I mean, they'll say, look at, I think they did it for revenge. That they'll say, obviously, it depends on how you look at it. Obviously, you might say it was your choice, but we had nefarious intentions to gaslight it into happening to you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, they might say, "Oh, they got a vulnerable mental patient and they gaslit him into having an HIV scare." That's basically what they did. For what took place 20 years ago. No, I'm taking the medication. I just took the Cobenfy. Somebody says that's just nonsense. All right, Tiger. I hope you're right. I hope I at least had some genuine friends. You know, I hope not everybody was betraying and deceiving me. Somebody says, sadistic persecutor says, I think you're probably right, Andrew. And let's call a spade a spade. I am probably right. But he said, I do think you had some friends. Back in, you know, but they say a lot of people were betraying you. I think most of the friends I've met recently. From 2011 till about, you know, 2019, 2020. Nobody was genuinely my friend. Everybody then was betraying me. No, I don't think the Swell Boys or Ed were genuinely my friends. They were like fair weather friends, if anything. I saw them once a week. I basically was alone, solitary, in a fantasy land all day, every day, with irritable parents who treated me like I was the bane of their existence. I met some friends recently who I do you know who I do trust. Somebody says, "Hey Christopher, how you doing?" I'm basically saying, do you think I was gaslit into having an HIV scare? Do you think people I opened up to and trusted after years of no friendship um, intended to do me harm? Somebody says no. Somebody says these are delusions. I really hope they're delusions. I really hope not everybody was betraying me and torturing me. You know what I mean, guys? Somebody says, "Why are you so upset in your most recent videos?" Well, I suspect my mother and stepfather have been torturing me for the past 20 years. Rusty says he suspects things too. That doesn't make it true. What are things you suspect, Rusty, that aren't true? No, I swear. Rusty says, I suspect you aren't taking your medication, Andrew. I assure you, I am taking my medication. Maybe the Cobenfy isn't the medication for me, but I am taking the medication. So let me ask you, what was for dinner? I had fish for dinner. I had some fish. I had fish for dinner. No, I swear to you, I got the medication. I got the Cobenfy right here. I'm taking it. Somebody says, I think it's kind of like the Blue Blazer, what happened to me. You know, they set me up and they had like nefarious premeditated intentions to hurt me for revenge. But ultimately, they'll say it was my choice. They'll say I chose to go to the emergency room and take the medications. It was kind of like the Blue Blazer Owen Hart, where it was kind of like, was it really my choice though? They probably gaslit it into happening. I mean, if I brought them to the Supreme Court, could I prove they all conspired into torturing me? Probably not. But they did it. They did it to me. I just took my medication. Somebody says, prep was your choice, dummy. Somebody says, you don't know what gaslighting is, it seems. Somebody says, cool man says, all of us want to just see you at peace, man. Yeah, I suspect even if they did gaslight me into taking HIV prep for revenge for 20 years ago, I suspect everybody at this point wants to see me make a mental health recovery and wants to see me do well, even the people who hurt me, you know. I suspect, they wanted to give me a receipt. They wanted to, but I suspect everybody wants to see me do well. Somebody says, Andrew, listen, I was watching on my uncle's illegal pay-per-view box when the Blue Blazer fell to his death. Although it wasn't broadcast, somebody says, the Blue Blazer didn't die for you to sit in your room all day. Actually, speaking of the Blue Blazer, I remember my father was still living at the house. I think it was prior to the divorce, so I guess it was 1999. It was about the time my parents were getting divorced, though. And, I was watching it on the scrambled screen. I didn't actually have a hot box, so I was watching it on the blurry screen. If anybody knows, you could turn to the pay-per-view channel and the screen would get blurry. And I heard I would watch the scrambled pay-per-views because I couldn't pay for every pay-per-view. So I heard Owen Hart fell, and at first I thought it was a joke. I thought like he fell, and I run into the room. I'm like, ha 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 ha! Dad, Owen Hart or the Blue Blazer just fell, and I was laughing because I thought it was a joke. And my dad's like, he fell. Go, and then we went in there, and I'm like, oh, and then like Jim Ross was like stressing that it was not, supposed to happen. And eventually we realized, oh, it wasn't a joke. But initially, when I heard he fell, I thought it was a storyline. Yeah, and sure enough, like when you found out he died, that was pretty bad. Yeah, Jim Ross, really was very professional, despite the really bad situation. I mean, it was a good thing they had him on commentary. Very professional, despite how bad what was happening was. You got to hand it to Jim Ross. His professionalism was very nice. He says, "That's right." So you swear to me nobody, um, betrayed me. Nobody got revenge on me or anything like that. You swear to me everybody's intentions were to genuinely help me and help me make a mental health recovery. You swear there was no. Somebody says, I swear. Go to your doctor. You know, everybody had good intentions. Everybody wanted to help you, Andrew. Okay, I hope so. I really hope so. Because it would really be heartbreaking to think some of these people who I genuinely loved, opened up to, and cared about were to have betrayed me. That would really break my heart, you know. So he says, apologize to your mother, stepfather, and everybody you accuse of being a sadistic deceiver. Nobody intended to do you harm. So he says, have you talked to your parents recently, Andrew? Yeah, apparently my father got an update on his cancer. Apparently, they said it hasn't spread to other areas of his body, which is good news. I mean, it's bad news he has cancer, but it's good news. Apparently, localized, I think, is the word that they found out. So my father's cancer is localized. So that's good news, but it's bad news. So he says that's great news, to be honest. Yeah, that is. It's great news. Not great news he has cancer, but it's great that it's localized. So that's a good thing. So he says, thank goodness. So he says, leave your dad alone. Leave him out of this. All right, I will do. I'll leave my father alone. He's going through a hard time. He's going through a really hard time. Dave says, if you really loved your mother and Poppy, you'd get on a mega regimen to give him a few good years before the end. So tell your father you love him once in a while. Yeah, I think somebody says your father wears Owen Hart shirts for you. That's true. You got to hand it to him. I realize you can't make people love you. You can't make people care about you. That doesn't matter. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed. I think it's time to get some rest. I can go to the pros program tomorrow. I think get some shut eye. All right, guys. Peace out. This is pros program tomorrow, big dog. All right, we'll do. Later, guys.